This episode is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. There are legends around here.
Who died in Meiji, fucking king of the zombies?
Even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not yet dead.
I want to play a game.
Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name is Isaiah, joined tonight by Mark and Ted. How are you guys doing this weekend?
Not too bad. Doing pretty good.
Great. All right, so tonight we're finishing up our spring-themed horror movie month, and we're going to be taking a look at The Evil Dead from 1983. But before we get into all that, though, what have you guys been up to this week?
Not too much, man. Still trying to watch Demon Slayer. That show is so good. If you like anime or any type of action kind of anime, it's amazing. Only got 2 episodes left of that. Haven't done really any gaming. We've been pretty much engulfed in the world of trading cards.
Okay.
I've spent an unhealthy amount of money on Pokemon.
Okay.
But I'm okay with that. We're having fun. We're filming some of it. We're posting some of it on social media, and we're thinking about maybe after we move, we might start like a little mini channel doing like tabletop stuff and nerd stuff and things like that. You know,
Okay.
other things that we like. So it's kind of exciting. I'm going to see tomorrow. Going to see a Quiet Place 2. So I got that to look forward to. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good.
I saw it Friday night. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been hearing really good things about it from everybody
I didn't
that's seen
even
it.
realize that was the whole movie. I didn't realize that was Cillian Murphy until the credits rolled. I was like, holy crap, that was Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
I did not recognize him with the full beard and everything. I was like, darn.
Right?
He did a great, and he was great in this movie.
That's great.
That's pretty much it for me, man.
Okay. What about you, Ted?
I've been watching a crap ton of movies now that I'm on vacation. So
Right.
I've been watching most of my Vinegar Syndrome stuff to catch up on my subscription. And I'm almost done. I'm partway through my last movie I need to get through, which is Fatal Exam from the Homegrown Horror Volume 1 box set.
Mm-hmm.
But like I watched Last Gasp with Robert Patrick. I enjoyed that one. The Cellar was a surprise. I didn't think it was going to be that great, but it turned out to be really cool. I watched All American Murder, which is my favorite from the April package. That movie's great. Christopher Walken. I thought it was just a great. It was like a mix of like a giallo and kind of like a slasher film combined with just a mystery. I mean, it was really good. I mean, it really surprised me. I was digging the whole thing. It was good. Christopher Walken's awesome as the detective. Of course, he's Christopher Walken. He's always awesome anyway. But
Exactly.
but yeah, watch that. Watch Smile from Fun City. That was pretty funny. Not in your typical ha that's funny. It feels more like ironic. There were some laugh out loud moments like the little teen boys, I guess, prepubescent. I don't know. They're like 13, 12 years old trying to snap nude photos of the contestants, but they were getting dressed in the dressing room through the windows. And
Mm-hmm.
they get caught and police get involved. And Bruce Dern, he's like one of the judges and he's one of the main characters and it's his son. So takes his son to a psychiatrist. He's like, Dad, I don't want to see a psychiatrist. It's either this or jail. You want to go to jail? So I don't know. I found the movie pretty funny. Yeah, and saw Quiet Place 2, like I just said, Friday night. That was really good. Enjoyed it. I took the whole family. Took my niece, nephew, my dad, and my sister. All 5 of us went and had a good time.
That's awesome.
yeah, that's pretty much just it. Just enjoying my time off and just catching up on some movies. I got a lot to catch up on in between just doing other stuff. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so with me, it's been kind of a busy week for gaming and movies. Still obviously work and whatnot, and it's getting ready for the schedule change at my work. So this past week was like my last week working Sunday through Thursday. But we've been doing a lot of like movie nights through Discord lately with some of the other people in the network. So me and Andy from Dead in Santa Carla the other night, I think it might have been Sunday or Monday night. I don't remember what it was, but we ended up watching No Retreat, No Surrender.
Oh, nice.
Which is a great movie. I mean, just a great cheesy 80s movie. It's so fucking good. Then we watched, we did do Joe Bob on Fridays, and that was Train to Busan and Spookies. So they showed Spookies, which was great. And then last night we watched Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Nice.
And then for myself, I've been getting back more into watching some wrestling and stuff. So I've been watching some older WCW and WWF stuff again, because I go through those phases where I'll take weeks and I'll just spend like my nights watching like an hour or two of just old school wrestling.
Are you watching it through the Peacock? Is that what you're doing?
A little bit through Peacock because I still have it because I paid for like 4 months of it.
Yeah.
And then some of it just through YouTube. And then
I was going to ask, because if you're watching the Attitude Era stuff, isn't like the episodes cut in half because they want to edit everything out now?
I mean, it's not far off, but
like, welcome to SmackDown. Well, we hope you enjoyed SmackDown. 20-second episode.
It's kind of true, unfortunately. And then still watching Schitt's Creek, and then I've been getting back into watching Dexter because I'm trying to work my way through that, getting ready for the revival this fall for the new season. That's going to be coming out. So, and then I got my PS5 yesterday, so I've been using that a little bit. And oh my God, it's like night and day difference in comparison to playing on the PS4. It's just so nice, and like just like how it feels playing it with the DualSense controllers, just like so incredible. And just even like playing certain PS4 games on it, it just feels like a whole new experience. With the PS5 upgraded versions, it's so good.
The only thing I don't like about the controller, I love the way it feels. It feels amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the adaptive trigger because I feel like I'm going to break it.
Yeah.
Does it come with like a USB to charge it up like the PS4 did?
Yep.
The controller, I mean, it does.
Yeah,
okay.
but I think if you get an extra one, it doesn't.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
I think if you just get just a controller, it comes with just the controller.
That makes sense because that's just like the PS4 controllers too.
Yeah.
I just wish the cord was a little longer, so I gotta invest in another cord because it's only like 4 feet long. And
It is quite a bit longer than the one that came with the PS4. That thing was like 10 inches.
Yeah. Still not long enough, especially when you're
No.
sitting 10 feet away. So
I went online and bought a 10-foot cable
yeah,
a long time ago.
exactly. So, but I like that they switched to the USB-C port.
Yeah.
With the controllers, it's just so much nicer, anyways. But so obviously my older cords don't work with it, but I mean it is what it is. I just need to buy a new cord, and so I can sit and play while my controller's charging, or just buy another controller and just switch out whenever I need to.
Have you played Astro Boy?
I haven't yet. The only thing I've really played is Destiny 2 because I downloaded that yesterday and was playing with some people last night. Just kind of testing it out before I went to bed last night. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing I've played because literally I got it, I think at 4:00 yesterday afternoon, hooked it up, downloaded Destiny. That took like 45 minutes. And then I played for a couple hours before I went to bed. So, but that was about all I got into it. I do have Maneater though. I have Maneater downloaded because that was the first free game that they offered. So I gotta play that and see how that is.
The PlayStation Plus collection's got some bangers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of their first party Sony games are on there. They got God of War's on there, Last of Us is on there. There's a couple other. I think Horizon might be on there. I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, I think they just gave us Horizon like last month.
Oh, okay.
So you might be able to get Horizon for free, Ratchet and Clank for free. There's a bunch of really good games on there.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Maybe pop that bitch on tonight and just see what I can get. Because I'm all about getting some free games if I can.
Yeah, especially when they're AAA really good games.
Yeah, not the cheap-ass independent games that nobody plays. Agreed, 100%. So that's kind of what I've been up to this week. So I've got tomorrow off, obviously, for Memorial Day, which is nice. So I'm going to be probably playing a bunch of PS5 tomorrow because I ain't got shit to do. So between that and cleaning, that's kind of my day for tomorrow. So, and maybe a couple movies. I have no idea, honestly. I've got no real plan. I'm just kind of going in with whatever I fucking feel like doing. I'm going to do tomorrow. I just don't care right now. But this week is going to be my last week of working my current schedule. I've got kind of a half day on Thursday, so it's not a full week, but then I get a 3-day weekend, and then I'm back to working Monday through Friday after that. So it's gonna be nice, but suck at the same time, just because I lose my time and a half on Sundays. So, but there's nothing I can really do about that because they're closing on Sundays now. So I get stuck going back to pretty much my old shift, and I'll be opening. So I'm going to be working 7 to 3:45, which is going to be a little hard to kind of adjust to, but it'll be nice getting off earlier in the day. But anyways, with that being said, just a couple things I wanted to kind of bring up here before we get into the review of The Evil Dead. Just a little bit of news that's kind of come along. So to kind of kick things off, so obviously Spiral was just released 2 weeks ago into theaters. Kind of the first big horror movie to come back into theaters since obviously the pandemic hit. So now with that, Starz is actually going to be exclusively showing Spiral around Halloween. So if you end up missing out on seeing it in the theaters, or if you chose not to see it in the theaters just because of the pandemic, you'll get a second chance of being able to watch it on Starz this Halloween. So be on the lookout for that. It looks like it's going to launch on October 8th. So perfect time for the Halloween season. So if you wanted to check it out, didn't see it in theaters, you'll have that opportunity on October 8th, starting to be able to see it. So I do highly suggest seeing it, though, if you can in the theaters. It's fucking amazing. I loved it. I know Ted was with me on that too, right? You really like that as well, correct?
I did.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've got a chance to see it in the theaters, I highly suggest it. I loved it. It's
Detective Banks. How long has it been since you've seen your father?
Right. It's so good. I love it. So October 8th for that. Also, that was in the news. This was kind of a big one. Amazon bought MGM for $8.45 billion.
Boo.
So all these big-ass companies are acquiring all these fucking movie studios nowadays.
And they're going to ruin everything like they always do. So
yeah, so I mean, because MGM has stuff like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Candyman series, stuff from like Poltergeist, Amityville Horror. I mean, they've got a huge catalog of IPs, obviously. And now Amazon basically owns all that. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. And see if there's anything that's going to be revived. I don't think anything really much is going to change other than the fact it's under new ownership, but who knows,
They'll probably make all the movies, like slowly put them all on Amazon Prime.
Very possible.
Prime members.
Yep. Very, very possible. So,
I mean, it'd be impossible to do it all at once because they have an unfathomable size in their library.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. Man, MGM's got so many good movies.
Very true. So
Like I said, I'm not optimistic, but hopefully some good comes out of it. I guess.
yeah,
I just hope it doesn't get vaulted forever.
right,
Yeah.
right. That would be my
That's
concern.
my fear right there. Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's got a good money backing now with Amazon owning it, but yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but who knows? Besides Amazon acquiring MGM, also just because we've talked about Evil Dead Rise in past episodes, and we haven't really heard much recently regarding that. We got a little bit more news, but still not a whole lot. But we did find out this week that Evil Dead Rise is going to be going straight to HBO Max when it does get released. So obviously it's being produced by Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, so on and so forth. So all the same producers, and they haven't even started filming yet. But when it does release, it's going straight to HBO Max. So that's kind of really the most recent update regarding that. It's not a whole lot, but I mean, it's some news. But what are your thoughts on it going straight to HBO Max?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it because the movies that have been doing that recently have been great.
Mm-hmm.
If it helps, like if there's like some kind of money deal behind it that helps them film the movie or helps them in any way, I'm all about it. It shouldn't affect the Blu-ray printings or anything like that.
I would hope not, no.
So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if it's available in theaters for even if it's just like a Fathom event or whatever, I'll go see it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
It seems to be the thing, though. It's things either going both theater and the streaming, or just the streaming. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather see on the big screen. That's just me. I mean, that's what I was raised. I mean, I'm used to going to see things on the big screen. I love going to the theaters, and I love that experience. Just sitting in a dark room and just being taken to another world. I mean, sure, I can do that here in my bedroom. I mean, geez, but. It's just something special going out and doing something. I mean, it was always special as a kid. I just kind of always carried that feeling. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, my cousin's got HBO Max, so thanks to him, I finally saw Justice League last week. So,
Yeah.
so all 4 hours of it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I would rather see that in the theater. Well, maybe not all 4 hours, but like
Right.
2-parter. So, just... I know it is what it is, but it just gets a little depressing. I like going to the theaters.
Same.
Fun.
I really do. And honestly, like the Evil Dead remake, that was probably one of the best movie theater experiences I've ever had. Because we ended up having it was a special showing of it because they showed it in 35 millimeter when it was released at one of the theaters near where I live. And they did a double feature of Cabin in the Woods and the Evil Dead remake. And honestly, with having a theater full of people watching that, it was fucking amazing. Just the cheering and just like the people getting into it. And honestly, the Evil Dead movies are always fun. I mean, just kind of the source material and just kind of how it's all done. It's a fun movie to see with a crowd. And I'm sure Evil Dead Rise will be the same thing. Because it's Evil Dead. I mean,
yeah, as long as Sam Raimi is behind it, I have full faith in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and so I'm hoping it's still going to be going to the theaters on top of doing the whole HBO Max release. That's what I'm hoping, instead of just exclusively to HBO Max. I hope it doesn't end up being something like that. But if it does both that and theaters, I'm totally cool with it, because then I'm going to go see it in the theaters because.
I mean, I don't see them. I mean, I'm not a movie businessman, but this seems like you're cutting out a huge market when you don't go to theaters.
Right. Exactly.
I don't understand how they're going to be. I don't understand the business model and how they're going to. Let's say theaters go away, they all shut down. Everything just goes straight to streaming. How are these movie studios going to be paying for movies that cost like $200 million and such, and it just goes to streaming where they're only charging people like $10 a month? Because not everybody in the country is going to have that streaming service.
Exactly.
I mean, sure, the numbers might be good, but I just don't know how you can sustain a business like that. When
The
it's like,
answer, Ted, is they're going to start raising the prices on your streaming service.
Yep.
but
Because
even,
you
but
can't
like,
go you can't go
but
see
how
this
much
movie
money?
anywhere else.
But how
It'll
much
probably be
money?
incremental over time. Netflix has been doing it. Netflix used to be $7.
Yeah.
Isn't it like
No,
15 now for like just
it's-
one TV or something?
I think it's 12 for one.
Okay.
I think.
But see, that's what I keep saying though. Is like eventually, because I said this before, people keep saying, "Oh, just get all the streaming. It's still cheaper than getting like having like Dish or DirecTV or cable or whatever."
It's
the case
not
may be."
anymore.
And
It's not.
yeah, and I'm like, that's crazy. Even if it was, it's not going to be forever because they're going to start raising prices. Because not only you have to pay for the movies that they're producing, but they still got to pay for servers and people working those servers.
Mm-hmm.
It all adds up. So again, I still don't see how. I mean, unless you're going to be paying like $40 a month for one streaming service, and you'll have like even half the country. Let's say let's just throw in like 200 million people or whatever. But still, that won't sustain it forever. So I don't understand the business model. Like I said, I'm not knocking it. I just don't understand it. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, I mean, people are like, oh, Disney Plus is only $6.99 a month. I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to be that way forever.
Nope, it's already going up.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they already announced a price increase for Disney Plus.
It hasn't even been a year, has it?
Nope. It's been it's been a little over a year.
Little over a year.
They're already raising the prices. How much are they raising it to?
It's not much, but it's still going up. And I mean,
I knew it.
it's like less than $1, but it's still. I mean, it's still going up. So,
but I mean, 50 cents to like 100 million people that's a lot of money.
it is.
Well, let's see. That's like more than. Let's see, 50 cents over.
Don't
12
make me
months.
do math, Tim.
Wait. That's like $5 and change extra a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's yearly, but it's
Still a lot. I mean, it's still
Yeah.
going to be a big increase for their bottom dollar and
Yeah,
what they can do.
Like I said, I don't know how the movie studios are going to sustain that because, like, I mean, the way it was worked with like theaters. I mean, the theaters would take a cut,
Mm-hmm.
and if I remember correctly, like each week the theater would take a bigger cut, until like after a certain amount of time, then the theater would get full profit. But then, of course, by that time, people already seen the movie, and they're not like going to the movie.
Exactly.
They're seeing another movie, but still, it was like a big promotion for the home video. And then you had rentals, but you don't have physical rentals mostly anymore. There's still some places out there that do, but not nationwide like it was. But
like a month or two ago, Xbox tried to raise their price on Xbox Live.
And that got shit on really quick.
Well, because they haven't touched that price in over 10 years. It's been the same.
Yep.
And the value of Xbox Live is really low already, I think, because the games you get are shit. But they backed down on that instantly. That made sense for them because they've been getting a lot of good PR lately. They've been getting a shit ton of good PR.
Yeah. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, they were talking about it going up quite a bit too.
I think it was going to be the same price as Game Pass because they want people to get Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
how much is Game Pass?
Game Pass is $10 a month,
$120 a year,
or $15 for Ultimate.
Yeah,
It's 180 a year, I think. No, it might be 120. I don't remember.
still, it's double what
it's
Xbox
less
Live
than 3
costs.
games. Yeah. If you're the kind of person that just plays your one game and that's all you want to play, you shouldn't have to be forced to subscribe to something else that you don't want.
Exactly.
You see, the only reason I want to get a PS5 is for Resident Evil 8 because I'm a Resident Evil fan, and I want to get that. And it would be cool to finally have a UHD
Player. Yeah.
player because I've got a couple of 4K discs already. I just don't have a player for them. Good thing they're combo packs with Blu-rays.
Right.
But yeah, so really, I mean, because I'm not a gamer. I guess I don't know if you call me casual or what you would call me. Like,
I'd say you're
there's some games
casual.
I like. Yeah, casual because I mean, that's how we all met. I mean, well, Sean and I already knew each other, but that's how we met you two guys. Oh, well, we knew you too, Isaiah.
I was just so like in and out with Camp Blood.
Camp
I mean,
Blood,
but I knew you guys from there.
Yeah, and then we met Mark through playing Friday the 13th, and we played the crap out of that game.
Yeah.
And of course, wrestling. I play wrestling games, and so does Isaiah and Sean sometimes. But yeah, mostly I'm just kind of like, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, so that's fine. I mean, the main reason I got my PS4 6 years ago was because I wanted Metal Gear Solid 5 because that's a franchise I like too. So.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I got my PS3 is to get Metal Gear Solid 4 and have a Blu-ray player.
Hey, all they need to do is just come out with a Metal Gear Solid 6. There you go. More of a reason to get a PS5 then.
Oh, I'm getting a PS5 whenever they come available. I've got the money. They just need them in stock.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy I got mine through Amazon. I mean, that worked out really well. So
yeah, it did.
Finally.
So what about we got to mention the Vinegar Syndrome cell?
Yes, I was gonna actually get to that.
Okay.
Because you'd mentioned the 4K discs, and obviously right now the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale is going on. If you're listening to this on Monday, the 31st of May, it is still going on until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. And Scanner Cop 1 and 2, we've been speculating about that for a little bit, and that was the 4K release that they were hinting at. That was a double feature. So
it looks beautiful, man. It's in that slip box, and then each movie has its own case with its own slip cover. Oh, it's so sexy.
It looks so good.
I love it.
And they've got so many other things, too. I mean, you've got that. You've got the Alien from L.A., Champagne and Bullets, Alley Cat.
Yeah. Yes.
Televised Terror, Surf 2. I mean, they've got so many good releases coming out just for that.
This is just a fantastic. I told you months ago when they announced just some of the stuff, I was like, man, May is going to be packed. I said, we're going to get so much stuff from Vinegar Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, man, wasn't kidding, man.
No.
I'm telling you, it's so funny. I'm so glad that Scanner Cop 1 and 2 is part of our subscription.
Yes.
And I'm a complete idiot for what I did, but thankfully Vinegar Syndrome's like so nice.
Especially because it's fucking $60 for that set. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus, just to know that we got that number one at
People
a
are like,
discounted
why?
rbut included with our thing.
People are asking, why are you an idiot, Ted? I was like, well, first, you've listened to me. You know I'm an idiot, but so the sale goes live. I'm just refreshing on Vinegar Syndrome at that point, like the last minute, when it's supposed to go on sale or the site's supposed to go live. So site goes live, you see everything, and I'm just drooling at the mouth. Literally, I'm like, oh my goodness, Scanner Cop 1 and 2, Alien from LA, Surf 2. So I'm like, that's part of my subscription. That's part of my subscription. But I didn't pay attention to the Scanner Cop 1 and 2, which is part of our subscription also. So I was like, add to cart. And I bought some other stuff. And then after I had paid my money, then I realized, holy crap, that Scanner Cop 1 and 2 is part of my subscription. That means I'm getting 2 copies because I just paid $60 for it.
Yeah.
So I emailed Vinegar Syndrome and I was like, hey guys, my bad. Can y'all refund me my $60 for this? Because I didn't realize. I told him, I said I didn't pay attention to the product page, and I said I didn't realize it was part of my 2021 subscription. Could you cancel that part of my order and refund me the $60? And like the next day, I was talking to Isaiah. We were just hanging out for a little bit, and then you left. And about an hour after we were hanging out, I get all these. I get the email from Vinegar Syndrome saying, "Hey, no problem, Ted. We're canceling that part of your order. You'll get your money back." And then, and I got an email from PayPal say, "Hey, $60 has been refunded to you." And I was just like, "Holy crap! I didn't expect to hear them till." I told you like sometime next week,
right?
Because I was like, this sale, it's one of the both they only have 2 sales and it's always big. So I'm like, this is a busy time for them, just like Black Friday is. So I was just like I know I'm gonna get my refund, but I know it's gonna be a while. But no, man, they were quick, less than 24 hours. They were like, here you go, Ted. They're like, no problem. I even apologized. I was just like, I apologize for any inconvenience. This is my stupidity and not paying attention. They're like, no problem, Ted. It's all good. I'm like, okay. I love you guys. Vinegar Syndrome.
You guys are my best friends.
You guys are my best friends. I'm just gonna say they're the best freaking company out there.
They really are.
I love Vinegar Syndrome and I support them 100%. So yeah, I mean the sale's great. I mean I bought so much crap.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just saving my money though because of course we all got a tax return. We all got our stimulus stuff.
Yep.
So I mean people at work, people at my job, they're like, so what are you gonna do with your money? And I said I'm saving all this money. I said I've been putting money back and I've been doing this and that. And they're like, you're supposed to stimulate the economy. And I was like, well, you know what? That's the government's fault because they gave me the money. Now it's mine. I'll do what I want with it. so I have all this money saved up now. And I was just like, forget it. I'm freaking buying all these movies I want. And I did. So I
Good
got
for
a
you.
bunch of stuff. So I was like, see, I did stimulate the economy eventually here. So
Damn right.
I just took my time in doing it.
Yeah.
Just like the government takes its time to do things. So I took my time to do things. So
That's so good.
But yeah, so
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't spend nearly as much as I thought I would have, which is probably a good thing. I mean, because I can go a little overboard, especially with Vinegar Syndrome, with buying stuff just because.
I just picked up the stuff that I really didn't have and wanted. Like, I bought Lust in the Dust, which looks hilarious, so I had to buy that. And I bought Perfect Strangers because I love Larry Cohen. I love his movies, and I've never seen that one, so I'm like, I gotta pick that up. I bought Old Dracula because you told me it was pretty funny. It was kind of like you said it was kind of like a Young Frankenstein type deal or something. You said,
yeah, they made it as kind of supposed to be a compliment to that, and they were shown at like drive-ins and stuff, along with Young Frankenstein. Not that it's necessarily the greatest movie. I mean, it's coming from Vinegar Syndrome, so I mean,
but if it's goofy fun, it's goofy fun.
Exactly.
So yeah, I picked that up. I picked up Flesh Eating Mothers just right before we were recording this episode.
Yeah.
I bought like Zombie 5, Play Dead, Zombie Island Massacre. I just bought a bunch of stuff. But the new slipcovers, the Nightmare Weekend. I bought that slip, and I bought the Deadly. Was it Deadly
Embrace and Murder Weapon?
Murder Weapon. Yeah, I bought those. I bought that slip because I have those movies. So I mean, I made out really well this sale. I mean, they had so much good stuff.
Yeah,
and a lot of stuff went out of. I mean, like usually it's like the Gialli Volume 2 set, which I picked up during this sale. Also, I mean, it went out of stock like 20-30 minutes after I bought a copy.
I believe it. I really believe it.
Because I was like, I got to pick up this set because I got Volume 3. I missed out on Volume 1, but. So I was like, I'll just pick up Volume 2 because, it's really cheap right now because of the sale. And they only had like 300-something copies left. And so I bought it, and okay, so it's good. I'm getting it. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, you know what? I'm interested in seeing like, where the numbers are now. Just 10 minutes. I checked and it was down to like only 100-something within those 10 minutes. I was like, darn.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 20-30 minutes later, out of stock. So I was like, man, I'm glad I jumped on that when I did.
Right.
Even though the Volume 3 set wasn't that great. There was like only one movie that set that I really did like.
Okay.
But so I was just like, what the heck? I might find another hidden gem in this thing. So I just took the plunge. I was like, you might as well splurge a little. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great sale. It's been now the next sale. I'm probably not going to have anything to buy except when it's time to subscribe for 2022.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because I think I pretty much got everything that I want from them now at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of at that point too.
Yeah, bar any future, whatever VSAs, etc. that they'll release. But I mean,
exactly.
Everything else, I'm pretty much good for. So
yeah,
I'm caught up.
Yeah, bar any VSAs or VSUs, really.
Yeah.
Of
course,
right
the
there
Fun
with you.
City stuff. I mean, the Fun City stuff is always a treat too. I haven't been disappointed from that label either.
No, that's been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm Walking the Edge coming out. That's. I mean, I've got that on DVD, so I already know. So still, Fun City, keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly. So yeah, all that to say, that sale is going to be ending Monday, May 31st, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're a fan of exploitation horror, that kind of stuff, definitely check that sale out. They're really like the best when it comes to releases. They're fucking amazing. So check it out for that. The last couple things I just kind of want to just touch on just briefly, just so we can get into reviewing this movie. First off, we've talked about the new season of Slasher that's coming. So that got a release date of August 12th for Slasher Flesh and Blood, which is going to be produced by Shudder now. And I think that's the right move for this show, just because the last season that was on Netflix wasn't very good. But I have highly enjoyed Slasher for the most part, besides that. And we did touch on previously that David Cronenberg's going to be acting in this. And so it's an 8-episode 4th season of this. So I'm super pumped for that, just to see what Shudder's going to do for this. And I'm looking forward to August 12th for that. So that's coming. And then the last thing I just wanted to bring up is we know that Dying Light 2 was delayed. It was originally supposed to be coming out at the beginning of this year. And then they just stopped talking about it, and it got pushed back indefinitely. They did release a gameplay trailer this week, and Dying Light 2 is now known as Dying Light 2 Stay Human. And pre-orders are up for that now, and that is coming December 7th of this year. So finally we got a release date for that. I'm super pumped. I fucking love the first Dying Light and still play it every once in a while to this day, 6 years later or whatever it is. So
it's been delayed like 25 times.
It has been, but it's nice that we have an actual date now. So there's a light at the end of that tunnel, and it looks great for what they're doing, and just kind of the way that they're evolving the game and making it so like the decisions you make can affect even how your map is, and it can reveal or hide certain areas of the map or produce newer type of enemies. And I just like what they're doing with it. I'm super pumped to be able to play it. So that's coming this December. So I'm super pumped for that, especially to be able to play it on PS5. That's going to be great too. So I'm super hyped for that. But that's kind of what I had for news for today. Is there anything else that anybody wants to touch on before we get into this review?
Well, Blue Underground just released news that they're going to release Maniac Cop 2 and 3 on 4K discs sometime this year.
Okay.
Didn't get a release date yet, but actually there was no release date released. But yeah, it's coming this year, they said.
Nice.
For both movies, so.
That'll be great, seeing as I just bought all 3 of those this week. I ended up buying those on deep discount after Joe Bob showed them last week. So I just bought 1, 2, and 3, and I got them for like $60. So, nice. Knowing that they're coming out the 4K ones now, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's what happened to me last year when I bought from Diabolic DVD.com. I bought House by the Cemetery on their big 3-disc special edition Blu-ray because it was on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Lucille Fulci, and then like a month later, they announced, oh yeah, we're going to release a 4K version of this. And like, cause this was like March or April of last year. Then they're like, in June, we're going to have a 4K disc. I was like, I'm not buying this again. I was so mad. I was like, I'm not buying it. I'm protesting this now.
I love it.
I was like, no wonder it was on sale. Cause they knew. I was like, y'all knew ahead of time. There's no way y'all didn't know that this was going to happen.
You a-holes.
Let's just get rid of this stock quickly.
Right.
4K disc, twice the price. I'm like, no. You made me mad. Don't make me mad, because then I won't spend money.
Right?
You guys know that, because I still haven't subscribed to Shudder, and it's been 3 freaking years. They still ticked me off that night.
Yeah. Well, hey, we can always.
All these people wanted to watch Joe Bob. I'm like, then y'all wouldn't have done this, you dumb. Never mind, I'm not gonna go into it. I still have not given them my money. And it's been 3 years, so yeah. I can hold a grudge too, baby.
Oh, Ted. You and your grudges. I love it. That's true, though. It's very true. When Ted holds a grudge, he holds a grudge.
And I don't hold grudges against people. It's companies I hold grudges against.
Yeah. Very true. All right. Well, are we ready to talk about The Evil Dead?
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look at Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead.
It was the one dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
The Evil Dead was released on April 15th, 1983, directed by Sam Raimi. This had a cast of, obviously, the Chin himself, Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, Richard Demanicore, Betsy Baker, and Teresa Tilley. So this had a modest budget of about $350,000, and in its release, worldwide it grossed about $3 million. So it didn't make a ton of money, but honestly, at the same time, it was an extremely independent feature, obviously, and them basically doing everything themselves, which is really fucking remarkable. Just a little bit of trivia regarding the movie. So the original script actually called for all the characters to be smoking marijuana when they were first listening to the tape. The actors decided to try this for real, and the entire scene had to later be reshot due to their uncomfortable behavior. So I think that's hilarious.
That's what happened with what's his name? Teddy Bear from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. He's like, I'm gonna smoke pot for real, and then he's like, don't do that. He said, don't do that when you're making a movie. He said, I got so paranoid and weird. He's just like, man, it's terrible.
That's funny. God. So at the end of a normal shooting day, Bruce Campbell would actually have to return home in the back of a pickup truck because of him being covered in fake blood from head to toe. So he was just always doused in just fake blood. So having to just ride in the back of a pickup truck is kind of amusing. Sam Raimi actually originally wanted to title the film The Book of the Dead, but then one of the producers, Irvin Shapiro, actually changed the title to The Evil Dead for fear that kids would be turned off from seeing a movie that had a literary reference with a book being in there. So, and then finally, the last thing I just wanted to kind of bring up is that when there wasn't any filming going on, Bruce Campbell would actually help out with the crew with prepping shots and setting up props around the set. So Bruce was actually very hands-on with a lot of kind of the making of the film too, and it's just so just seeing how they went about making the movie and everything. It was such a low budget and just kind of friends working together and stuff. It's kind of one of those dream gigs where it's like everything just kind of fell into place and finally just worked out, and getting to work on a movie with your friends and stuff, it's just fucking amazing. But yeah, so this movie has been a favorite of mine since I don't even know, since I was probably middle school, I think, was the first time I saw it, because obviously they have the reference in A Nightmare on Elm Street when Nancy's watching it on the television, so that's the first time I ever saw anything with regards to it, because obviously I've been a Nightmare fan since I was 5. So just seeing it in there and then finding out, the movie that it was actually showing, and then being able to see the movie, I've always loved The Evil Dead. Obviously, 2 is by far my favorite in the series, but I do love 1 a lot, and just kind of like the aesthetic with this movie too, because it's so gritty, and because of the type of cameras that they had to use, just because of budget restraints and everything, but it really kind of lent to kind of the magic of it, just because it was so like gritty and just it looks so cool, and just how they shot it and everything. So I fucking love this movie.
And there was actually a star in this movie that was featured in more films than Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sam Raimi's car, the '73 Oldsmobile.
Yep. Hell yes.
People have already asked Sam Raimi if that car is going to show up in the Doctor Strange movie he's directing.
It better. It fucking better.
I like the whole thing when going back to Nightmare on Elm Street, like how this movie had the poster for Hills Have Eyes.
Yep.
Like ripped in half or whatever, saying this movie's scarier than that movie, and then that's what Wes Craven's just like, oh yeah. It kind of started a friendly little rivalry that they kept doing that with each other.
I'm sorry, Wes, but it was scarier than that movie.
I love the Hills Have Eyes though.
I love them both.
I will agree though, Evil Dead is scarier. That's this movie.
This movie scared the pants off me when I was a kid.
It scared the crap out of me. I mean, I was scared before anything was happening because you know, when they drive, you know, when they drive to the cabin, and then you have the wind blowing the porch swing, and it's just banging against the cabin, and it just stops. That scared the living daylights out of me, man. I was just like, oh gosh, I'm in for something, aren't I? And you know, it just kept ramping up. I mean, this one's my favorite of the franchise. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, this one's always been my favorite because it's just atmosphere. I mean, Evil Dead 2 is great. Army of Darkness is great. Ash versus the Evil Dead, you know, is great. But just this movie, just there's something visceral about it that really, it still gets to me because it's just, I mean, like that opening shot with just whatever the evil is, you know, it's going through the woods, you know, just in the opening titles, it's just like, I'm just like, oh my goodness,
yeah. It's so good. And then like the effects in this are pretty good for early 80s, just low budget. It reminds me a lot of like Peter Jackson when he got his start, when he made Bad Taste. It's just like the effects were just so good for being so low budget. And yeah, they look kind of hokey with today's standards, but at the same time, back in 1983, you know, when it came out, I mean, this is pretty good for fucking low budget. And I thought they did an amazing job with the effects, and like the makeup was so well done, and it kind of created that iconic look for the Deadites and everything. And then even like some of the stop motion that they did with like, you know, the bodies deteriorating and stuff like at the end of the movie, I thought was very cool. Obviously, it doesn't hold up with, you know, all the stuff you can do nowadays, but I mean, it's so cool looking just because of it was all practical. There was no fucking CGI.
Stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
It is so fucking cool. It's just the thought and the craftsmanship that goes into making something like, even if it's just like something simple, or it's not simple, but something as cliche as like claymation, stop motion has always fascinated me. Yep. And it's something that anyone can do with low budget equipment. Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, stop motion is so, I wouldn't say it's easy to do, but because I've done stop motion before, but
extremely time consuming.
It is very time consuming because back when I was going to school for video, we had an actual project where we had to make a stop motion video, and this was like a 30-second video. It took us 8 hours of shooting photos to create the stop motion video for 30 seconds of footage. And that was going through lining things up and color correcting to make it look right. I mean, there was so much work. And this is nowadays when you have like, you know, computer technology to kind of help you do it. But back then when you're having to do it all right there in camera and you have to get it right on camera, I mean, I can't even imagine how fucking long it took, you know, to do that.
Snip all the frames together.
Yep.
Oh,
it's so time consuming. I just can't even imagine what it would have been like back in the early 80s trying to do it. It's just, it boggles my mind because, it's a lot of fucking work. But it's so well worth it when you get something that just looks so cool.
I mean, that's why Charles Band loves it. I mean, he's talked about it so many times, how he loves stop motion animation. Mm-hmm. He says, you know, he can't do it all the time because it's so it's so expensive. That's why he keeps trying to get the Primevals finished, but he doesn't want to do it the cheap way because David Allen was doing it David Allen was the director of the movie, and he died back in '99, so the movie went unfinished. And Charles Band's been trying to get the movie finished for years now, but it's so much stop motion. It's just like He's like trying to get it. We're trying to finish it for David, but it's just it takes time and money.
Yeah.
Because like the movie's filmed, it's just the stop motion effects they got to finish is what it is. But yeah, stop motion's fantastic. I mean, it could look so creepy too, the way things move and are just like jerky,
Yes.
And it's so inhuman like that. It just unnerves you. Just like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's the perfect setting for this movie too. Just kind of moving on from the effects, even just like the isolated cabin in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and there's one way in, one way out that ends up getting taken away when that bridge gets destroyed. I mean, there's just such a great feeling of isolation just from the outside world, and obviously they did it there not only for story, but obviously it was an abandoned cabin at the time that they were using it, so pretty cheap to be able to film there and everything. But that cabin is so iconic nowadays. I mean, you see it pop up in so many different things. I mean, even looking at like Cabin in the Woods, that we reviewed earlier in the month. I mean, that was very much an homage to Evil Dead, just with kind of the look of the cabin. It's such an iconic scene now with that place, and it just works so well for this movie. It's hard to beat when you have like the perfect location, and on top of how the film itself looked gritty and stuff. Just I mean that cabin was gritty and grimy and just kind of very earthy, and it just worked so well, everything together, and I don't think they could have chosen a better place than what they had. So I fucking love it. I fucking love everything about this movie, honestly. I mean, yes, 2 is definitely my favorite, and that's just kind of it's kind of an in between of where like this one is like strictly more straight horror.
This one is definitely scarier. For sure.
Yeah.
Where 2 started to implement some of those comedy elements that we came to know and love, especially with the Ash character and everything. So,
and I think 2 has more gore.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, yeah. So
but the gore in 2 is so comical; it can't be
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
in this movie, you got flipping trees that raped Ash's sister. It's like, holy crap!
Yeah,
it's terrible. But the first time I saw it, I was just like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
That tree just.
I don't think I understood what happened when I saw it.
As soon as that branch went into that tender area, I was like, are you kidding me? Growing up, I had parents, who taught me, you don't touch girls here or there, stuff, normal kid stuff. So when you see that happen, you're just like, oh, touching what? Ugh. And then she comes back all busted. She's all cut up and everything, or what?
Yeah, and the evil
like,
entity is chasing her through the woods.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know Sam Raimi said, if I could change one thing, I'd take out that rape scene. I'm like, it's horrific, man, but it's part of the movie. Just leave it, don't lament over it. It's 40 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's a movie. It's not like she was really raped, but it is horrific.
Yes, it was.
For me, the scene that scared me the most when I was young and I was watching this was when the scene where Linda turned into a deadite and she was she was like calling out the cards. And then she was sitting there like Indian style in the doorway, just laughing maniacally. That scared the piss out of me. I was like, oh, fucking Christ.
Can we talk about Ted Raimi as
the
big deadite, Marguerite, or whatever her name was?
That was 2.
He was in 1 also.
He was in 1 too. He played.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of Henrietta. When he played Henrietta in 2.
I was thinking Henrietta too, but yeah, he was in 1 though. He has the greatest story. He's like, I was like 14 years old at the time, and my dad gave me money to buy comics because there's a comic convention in the town, and so I was with my brother Sam, and Sam said, "Hey, did Dad give you money?" And he said, "Yeah," and he says, "Give it to me." And he said, "I went to the production." He says, "I couldn't buy comics because my brother took my money that my dad gave me." I was like, yeah, that's a big brother for you.
Right?
You got any money? Give it to me.
God, that's hilarious.
I love Ted Raimi, man. He is so fucking funny.
Oh, he is. I love
He
him.
is, and he's one of the nicest guys you can meet,
Yeah,
too.
he is.
He's just a normal guy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's so
loved
good.
him. I know he got hate, but I back in the 90s, gosh man, I used to watch Xena all the time and I loved him as Joxer.
Mm-hmm.
Joxer's so freaking hilarious. He had his own
Agreed.
little song and everything. It was perfect.
He told a story about how he would get fan mail to the studio, not like to him, but to the studio, saying all these fans hated him.
Yeah.
And there was this one fan that just absolutely loved him. So he read it and he looked at it and it was his mom's handwriting.
I was a
hilarious.
Joxer fan as a kid. I did not hate that character. I love that character and still do to this day. So Ted Raimi, Joxer's awesome. I don't care if that says.
Right? I fucking love it. I'm here for it.
He's in a lot of Sam's movies.
Yes, he
I
is.
don't
Yeah,
think
he
he's
is.
in all of them. He's in a lot of them.
Especially a lot of the older ones he was in.
Didn't he play the Deadite in the pit in part 3?
I don't know if he was in the pit. I know he was like one of the medieval soldiers.
Yeah, I do remember
defending
that.
the castle against the Deadite army. I know he was one of them. He might have been the monster in the pit also. I mean,
It's very possible.
yeah.
But who? I don't really remember. But obviously the most famous one he did was Henrietta. So I mean, and that was just great in part 2. So besides all that, I do like that transformation scene. Kind of going back here a little bit to when the cards were being called out, and that was very cool. And then obviously when Linda finally turns after being stabbed in the ankle and whatnot, and
Oh, dude, that being stabbed with that pencil, how much did that hurt watching that?
Yeah, they
Oh,
lingered on the shot too.
Yeah, all the blood's pouring out. and
as the
then-
hands just going back and forth with the pencil, oh, it was so good, so
and then,
gnarly.
and then they did the stop motion when she started transforming. It started from that wound, and like
Just spidered
my
out.
goodness. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, so good. And Scott tries to go out on his own. He's like,
The wood
she's
kicked the
your
crap out of
girlfriend.
him.
You can stay here if you want. I don't give a crap.
At that point, I think I'd be with Scott. I'm like, screw this. I know I sound like an awful person, but you know what? I don't want to die here.
Exactly.
I'm going for it. But of course, we all know how that turned out. Scott got the crap kicked out of him by the woods.
Yep. Came back bloodied, just bleeding to death. So good. The one thing that I wish, well, not that I wish was better, but just kind of in comparison to the later movies and even the TV show, like the Necronomicon would just look so cheesy in this one in comparison, just because obviously lower budget and just kind of doing everything on their own. Where in comparison, like the later movies and the TV show, like number one, it was a bigger book, and then it just looked more realistic. But at the same time, it's just one of those things where it's just like, it just looks more aesthetically pleasing in the later stuff versus the original. That's kind of the only real thing that I just wish was a little bit better, just because it just looks kind of like a notebook, basically. Like just a small fucking notebook that was just bound in a bunch of latex. But I mean, that's just something really, really small. But otherwise, I fucking love everything about this movie. Just everything I thought was done so well for the budget they had and kind of the smaller crew that they had. I mean, they did such a fucking wonderful job with this, especially back then, and just kind of they obviously raising the money on their own and obviously with help with some family and whatnot. But otherwise, everything was basically done on their own. It's very commendable, especially them wanting to get a movie made and doing it on their own, their way. So I fucking loved it. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about regarding the movie. Is there any final things you guys wanted to talk about before we rate this movie?
I think it's just great. I mean,
Yeah, it's amazing.
fantastic.
If you haven't seen it, you need to. And then when you're done watching it, watch it again.
Right.
It's
Agreed.
a classic. It started Sam Raimi's career, Bruce Campbell's career, Robert Teppert's career. I mean,
Yep.
these are guys that went on to do other great movies, and like I said, they did Hercules and Xena in the '90s. Ted Raimi's career basically started with this movie. He's only 14 years old.
Yeah.
He went on. I mean, other than being in Sam stuff, I mean, he went on to be like in the TV. Was it Sequest? Yeah, the TV show Sequest, and just went on to do other stuff too. I mean, so yeah, it's just a great movie overall. It's a I like to view it as like a point in history and just movie history.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that went off on it. I mean, people like, especially like in the UK with the whole video nasties thing. I mean, this movie was outright basically banned in like the UK or whatever. So
it's up there as one of the most parodied horror movies too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
that's for sure.
It's just a fantastic movie. I think it's a classic, and I mean, it's one of the best.
I would agree. All right, so if you guys were to rate this movie, what would you guys rate it?
Well, Sean's not here, so I'll give his vote for him. He said it's good, not great. Go watch Army of Darkness instead. No, Sean said 5 out of 5. Give it more if he could, and I'm right there. I have 1,000,000 out of 5, but 5 out of 5 is our scale, so 5 out of 5.
All right.
I'm 5 out of 5. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and for me, just because I do like 2 more, I would give this one 4.5 out of 5. Just because for me 2 is 5 out of 5. But it's such a solid movie, especially for a first movie for all these guys. You can't really do or expect much better than this, and they really fucking knocked it out of the park. So it's definitely a solid 4.5 out of 5 for me. So I mean, it's so well done, so well done. Fucking highly recommend it. Honestly, I recommend all the movies in this series. I mean, each movie has like a different feel to it, and just kind of as the budget grew and everything. And I think every single one of the movies has its own uniqueness and charm to it. So. But definitely for this one, 4.5 out of 5. And we would also love to know what you guys think. You can feel free to reach out to us through our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at CLS Podcast. We do hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Before we leave, though, are there any final words?
Shop Vinegar Syndrome. Give them money.
I would agree.
This is not a paid advertisement either. Just do it. We're loyal. We're loyal to Vinegar Syndrome.
I would agree. 100%.
Yes.
Anything from you, Mark?
I guess I'd say don't go to a cabin where your only way out is a rickety old bridge that's been there for 200 years.
That's a good point. I'm here for
Where's
it.
the fun in that, Mark? Where's the fun in that?
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we appreciate you guys checking out this week's episode again, and we will see you guys next week.
This episode of the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.